What is up, Insaners, and welcome to the super exciting episode where we'll be going through the top 4 free hit drafts that can help you achieve the best possible rank in Gameweek 18 and beat other FPL managers in your mini leagues. We would also look at our first free hit draft and provide you with some early thoughts. Make sure you watch this video till the end, do hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to our channel Insanely Football if you're liking our FPL content. We'll be making regular videos on weekly transfers, watch lists, team reviews, captain picks, and a lot more. For now, let's get into the free hit strategy structure. Now, before making any moves in terms of a free hit or wildcard specifically, there should be a base strategy which helps you start the draft. These are certain pointers that you would want to keep in mind before you start tinkering with your team. Now, these can be different for different FPL managers, but we've listed the ones that we would surely be following. It is not necessary that you follow the exact list, but keeping these in mind would definitely give you a huge boost when you're free hitting. First, make a note of your overall team value and money remaining in your bank. These are two critical pointers that will help you get the best players you need. Every FPL manager might have a different team value, so not everyone might be able to afford the same players and picks. It is important to always have some money remaining with you, as that helps you to get better transfers every week. This also helps in case if there are any price rises of certain players that you would want in your squad, you still might be able to afford them irrespective of any price rises, so keep that in mind. Ideally, whenever you're free hitting, you might be targeting certain fixtures that you want to take advantage of and get in those players accordingly. The next game week 18, is a blank game week, only having 6 fixtures, and you might want to target a few out of those 6. Man United, Man City, Arsenal, and some would argue even Tottenham have decent fixtures, so targeting these players from these teams and getting them in the squad for game week 18 makes a lot of sense. Now this year, there are a lot of good premium and budget options, and you can only start with 100 million, so obviously you can't get everyone in your team, and you need to decide and have a structure in terms of what players you want and what players you can do without. Now once you have a skeleton ready, you'll also understand what formation to play, whether you want to focus on having 3 decent strikers or play with 4 across midfield or even have 4 defenders. Totally depends on your current team value and what route you want to take. The drafts that we've made today cover various formations like 3-5-2, 3-4-3, 4-5-1, etc. Another key decision you have to make is whether to prioritize your playing 11 and not focus on the bench or vice versa. Considering the current football climate and what we've seen in the Premier League so far, having a bench can really save your game week. So you can definitely strike a balance and choose accordingly. Now coming to the free hit drafts, we've made a few and we'll discuss them individually and what options each of them provide you. We'll also talk about alternate picks that you can go for depending on your budget. Just one thing to note here is that these squads are based on our team value. It might not be the same for you, and you may or may not be able to afford these or even get better players. Now the first draft gives a well-balanced squad with no triple ups, meaning this team doesn't have 3 players from any club, and it is equally divided for most parts. The first fixture of the week is Sheffield United playing Newcastle United at home, and this is in fact one of the most difficult fixtures to call this weekend. Now Sheffield United haven't won a single game in the league so far, and Wilson looks like the only pick from this game. He's a budget striker and allows you to invest your funds elsewhere, so a decent option there. Coming to the next fixture of the week, Manchester United, they play Burnley away. Traditionally, Burnley don't concede a lot of goals at home, but Man United have been great in attack. They're scoring freely right now and have scored 14 goals in their 5 matches after the 0-0 draw with Man City. Now, Bruno Fernandes is the obvious standout pick here. Whether free hitting or not, you should definitely have him in your team. He's a good captaincy choice for this week, especially if he gets rested in the FA Cup game against Watford. Rashford is another good pick that you can have for this week. He's taking quite a lot of shots and has scored 4 goals in his last 5 games for Man United. Now United have not kept many clean sheets, in fact only 1 in their last 5 games and 4 overall, but in terms of attacking threat from corners and free kicks, Harry Maguire can be a good option. We've not picked anyone from Wolves or Everton in this draft. Coming to the next one, Man City vs Brighton, there's a clear favourite in this one. To add to their problems, Brighton don't have Bissouma as he's suspended for this game, accumulating 5 yellow cards. Now that might mean that Man City gets even a bigger haul this week. Kevin De Bruyne looks like a very good option. He's created a lot of chances and is shooting much more than before. Now in terms of returns, he has 1 goal and 2 assists in his last 3 games, so he's definitely getting up there with the likes of Salah, Bruno and Son. He's also a good captaincy option this week. In terms of City's defense, we've gone ahead with a safer pick in Ruben Dias. He's looked very comfortable as their centre back and has 5 clean sheets in the last 7 games. Aston Villa vs Spurs is also going to be a close game. Villa and Spurs defenses have been decent. We feel no team is going to run away with goals in this one. Son and Kane are obvious picks here from Spurs. It would be a wise choice to hold them if you already own them. If you don't own any, then Son is definitely the better pick of the two. The reason for this is that if Traore is playing, then Son will most likely be attacking from that side and Matthew Cash would get isolated as Traore doesn't defend much. Son will be left with a lot of space on that side, so can definitely get some joy there. Arsenal vs Crystal Palace is the last game of the week. Arsenal have turned it around in the last 3 games and won that huge game against Chelsea 3-1. Palace look shaky at the moment since they've conceded 7 goals against Liverpool, so we definitely fancy Arsenal, and there's some decent options with Saka being the most valuable pick. 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 3 games. He's only 5.3 at the time of recording this video and definitely gives a wonderful 5th midfielder option in this draft. Kieran Tierney has been another standard option for Arsenal, scoring 28 points across these 3 games. We really like him for the free hit team. Our budget allowed for Leno in this draft and we've used up all the cash. Arsenal can get a clean sheet in this one, so we have a decent option there. The other players in this draft include Martin for our second keeper. He has been there in our squad from the beginning, but you can choose any 4 million goalkeeper in that position. Someone who's not even playing can also be in your squad. Douglas is a 5th defender, and a lot of you might think that why is he there in this draft? It is because he's from Leeds, and on top of that he doesn't play at all, right? He's the only 3.8 defender in the game, so getting him saves us some cash. Mitchell is also a very cheap option from Crystal Palace at only 3.9 million. Brewster takes our 3rd striker spot. Again, we're only playing with 3 defenders and 2 strikers in a 3-5-2 setup, so this works. All in all, average bench options, but overall this draft looks decent. An alternate version of this is our draft 2, where we play a 3-4-3 system. The biggest change here is getting Lacazette instead of Brewster, and we have a good attack. Lacazette has scored 4 goals in his last 3 games and has returned with 27 FPL points in the process. Now to fund this, we had to go light on a premium midfielder, and the sacrifice here was Rashford for Pedro Neto. He mostly won't be playing in this one and is our 5th midfielder. If you want to go cheaper, you can take a punt on Emil Smith-Rowe, whose only price is 4.4 million in the game this year. Another change that we had to do here was Joao Cancelo in place of Ruben Diaz. He might not be 100% nailed on with Kyle Walker looming around. Not sure when Walker's gonna return, but Cancelo otherwise is a brilliant pick, giving that additional attacking threat as compared to Diaz or Stones. Our 3rd draft is the one with double Man City attack. Man City probably have the best fixture out of all the clubs in Gameweek 18, and having Raheem Sterling as a second attacker can have a huge upside. Definitely more than having a centre back from their ranks. Sterling has returned 5 times in his last 6 games. Most of them have been assists, and he's definitely due a goal. We have 4 premium midfielders along with a 5th premium player in Harry Kane. Now this allows us to play a 4-5-1 with only Kane up top, and Brewster and Davis are mostly there to make up the numbers. Our 4th draft is a bit different with some differential picks for sure. Again, this is nowhere close to the best team, but it definitely gives you a mix of premium and budget options. It's a 3-4-3 setup with Darlow in goal. Darlow has been a decent keeper this season and he makes a lot of saves, but don't think so he'll be called upon too many times against a weak Sheffield United. Nonetheless, he still looks good for a clean sheet maybe. We have Wan-Bissaka, who's also looked decent in recent games. He doesn't have the same attacking threat like a Tierney or a Cancelo, but having one player from United's defense definitely makes sense. Shaw can be another huge differential pick if you are low on budget. Same goes for Holding, definitely worth considering if you can't afford Tierney. Kilman comes in this one. Saiss is another defender who's pretty good at scoring from corners or free kicks, but there are just better options available elsewhere. Now we've gone with a different option in our midfield, with Eze most likely being our 5th midfielder who won't play. And if you will be sticking to a midfield 4, you can even get El Ghazi in a similar price range. Up top, we have 3 playing strikers in Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Anthony Martial and Callum Wilson. Now Calvert-Lewin has not scored in the last 5 games, but Wolves' defense in particular has been very poor this season, conceding at least 1 goal in their last 10 games. Everton and Calvert-Lewin in particular should score if Richarlison and Rodriguez play, but it might be a low scoring one. Now coming to Martial, he has been inconsistent when it comes to attacking returns, so there's definitely a risk there. We can even downgrade Martial to a Lacazette, which is the informed pick for now. Now sometime back while we were recording this video, we got news that Aston Villa closed its training ground after a significant coronavirus outbreak. So not sure whether Aston Villa versus Tottenham will go on as planned, and in case it gets called off, we have prepared another draft. This one basically has no Spurs or Villa players, and that means we have to depend a little more on the Manchester clubs and the Arsenal attack than we would have wanted. This means we have Kevin De Bruyne and Sterling from Man City and Bruno Fernandes and Rashford from Man United. In attack, we have Lacazette and Wilson. If you have the budget, you can probably upgrade a Wilson to Dominic Calvert-Lewin or downgrade from a Lacazette. All this means that we can't have a keeper from these teams, and Darlow looks like the next best option. Now coming to some thoughts on our free hit team, we have a triple up on Man City, Man United and Arsenal players. Son is there as the other remaining midfielder. We'll have to wait for the news on the Villa Spurs game and then take a call. Harry Maguire and David De Gea are also spots that might change for Wan-Bissaka or Darlow. This is surely not the final 11 guys for the week and still a bit of tinkering left before the deadline. In case you really tighten budget and won't be able to afford any price rises, then it's a different thing, but we would recommend you to wait just a bit more before hitting that free hit button. A lot can happen between now and the match day. Hope this video was helpful for you guys. Again, you don't have to copy the exact same team. It'll depend a lot on your plans, team value and the money remaining. These are just a few drafts that we thought would be good for the free hit team. Let us know in the comments below if you like any picks in particular. We would love to know your free hit team options as well. Hit the like button if you found this video useful. Next video will be on the wildcard draft. The second and the final wildcard of the season is active and available, and we'll tell you how can you best use that chip. It's going to be a lot of fun, so do watch out the space. Make sure you subscribe to our channel as well. This will help us in getting more amazing content for you guys. That'll be all for this one, and I'll see you in Saners next time.